Hey, I'm Neil and welcome to Petrogy. This video is released to patrons on Patreon on December 2nd.
So this vlog was supposed to come out on Friday. Things just weren't coming together, and honestly it's taken 3 or 4 days to get everything to kind of come together for this. Over the past 3 or 4 days, I've been struggling with quite a few things. I've got the job search going on that's been going on since March. Feel like it's feel like it's insanity. I feel like it's insanity because I'm doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. Sending resumes, networking with people, and it's just not yielding any results. It's driving me crazy. On the vlog side of things, my last post, not the very last post, but the there you go that I did on Tuesday, the vlogging just isn't very easy for me. It just doesn't come naturally. So I really did not like the quality that came out of it for the there you go. It was real choppy. It was real edited, and I don't feel that I'm really giving my I don't feel I'm really sharing my personality. So another reason why the vlogs don't come that they're just not as easy as people make it look, and another reason why I kind of struggle at it. I'm kind of an INTJ. I'm introverted, intuitive, thinking, judging. At least that's what I was told back when I first started taking some college courses and did the Myers-Briggs test. It's just not natural for me. It's not natural for me to go on camera, talk to a camera, and share my feelings. So that's one of the things I'm working on, and it's gonna take me a while to work through some of that stuff. The content, frankly, I've been kind of hiding behind the news stuff lately. The news just doesn't really matter. It's just propaganda. It's just distraction to keep us from thinking and doing what we need to be doing. We know that there's something coming, and we need to be preparing, and we need to be making reinforcing our situation so that when it does get here, we're ready for it. And because it's that propaganda and it's just distraction, I'm really not going to hide behind that drama and the news that I have, like I have been. I want to keep it. I want to keep it real, if you will, and I want to focus on the things that are really within that sphere of influence where we can actually things that we can actually affect and make a difference in. And right now, that really needs my focus. Really needs to be on the sustainability, the self-sufficiency, and the preparedness. And the vlogging is also part of that. It, I feel like I feel compelled, if you will, to share my journey, and because I think that you can learn from my mistakes, and I'm hoping that it'll provide you some motivation and some inspiration to kind of do the same to get yourself ready for what's coming. So why am I vlogging? I despise social media, and it makes me very uncomfortable. But frankly, it's some accountability. Makes me accountable to the people that are watching these videos to continue striving ahead, continue driving, continue towards that goal on that journey for the sustainability, the self-sufficiency, and the preparedness. It also helps me keep on track. And then the final thing is, it's for me to share my journey with you so that you can learn through my mistakes, and hopefully it'll provide you a little inspiration to do the same with your situation. There's also the community aspect of it. And honestly, that's where I really need your guys' help. Comments would be very greatly appreciated. I'm also getting quite a bit of support from some of the other creators out there, from their content and comments and stuff going back and forth. Surviving the Ice Age. I had a tweet this morning And in his blog post, he was talking about how we need to let go of our our egos and our fear of failure, and we know, because we know that something's coming, and we need to help each other because nobody else is going to help us. If there's something that we need to do, or we need to design or change, then he was saying how we just need to understand that everybody's not on the same page or even in the same book. But if we can come together, then if we can't come together, then we've already lost the most important thing, and that's our humanity. And that seems to be kind of the theme, the general theme that I keep getting from other creators. Earlier this week, I had commented on a post from Mountain Jewel on Steemit, and they were talking about things that were going on in their life, and how they just need to stay the course, keep plugging away. And one of the things they said in the video was that these are the moments that feed our souls. And at that time, I thought it was so interesting how the post that they did contrasted to what my day was, because my day was spent doing government stuff, sitting in lines, playing the hurry up and wait game, sitting in traffic, and they were getting plantings ready for the spring. And it was just such a contrast. And the comment that she came back with, or that Mountain Jewel came back with this morning, was without that contrast, without those things that differentiate those moments, then we're not able to see what we wouldn't know. If we didn't have the contrast, we wouldn't know what the difference is, so we wouldn't understand what we're striving for, if you will. So that's a little bit about that. The third struggle this week has been, I know that the current situation that I'm in, the things I'm struggling with on the job front, and those sorts of things. I know that those struggles they've got to be for a reason. In the past, historically, they've typically been those moments that kind of lead me to that next thing, if you will. So I know this is leading somewhere, but it's again, it comes to my patience, if you will. I want it to be now, but it hasn't happened yet, and I need to take a step back and realize that there is a reason for it, and it'll come when the time's right. I've also been really researching different places of where do I want to be when SHTF happens. Where I'm trying to figure out, where am I really being called to be when that happens. I've been researching maps. I think it was on Thursday. Yeah, I think it was Thursday. Thursday I was researching all sorts of maps, going through different areas where different maps about precipitation, about temperature, about different risks, and just trying to find different areas. And so I narrowed it down to 3 to 5 different areas, and I kind of threw my hands up and I said, all right, if it's meant to be, I'm going to apply at these places, and if I'm being called to somewhere, then so be it. If I get an interview and I get things lined up, then so be it, let's go. Saturday I was at the vet picking up some medications for the dog, and on the wall they had a picture of Lee's Ferry, of the Marble Canyon Bridge, and on it they had put a Bible verse over the structure of the bridge, if you will. And it just really spoke to me. Lee's Ferry is a place that I really enjoy fishing. It's a very peaceful place, a very relaxing place for me. And it's a place that for some reason, I've always been kind of drawn to. And I was wondering, is this, maybe the place I'm being called to? And I was really pondering, what's the calling going to be like when I get it. I think the piece that's missing from the calling is the door hasn't been opened yet. The path hasn't been smoothed, if you will. It's just not coming together yet. But that passage that was the on that artwork really spoke to me. So I felt really compelled to really dig into it and try to understand the context of what was going on, and try to figure out what does all this mean. So if you're not really comfortable with religious stuff, go ahead and sign out now. Um, but I want to share with everybody because it's part of my journey, right? And it's part of what I want to be able to share with everybody. I want to get more comfortable sharing feelings and things of that sort. I'm usually pretty close to the vest with religious stuff, so I don't try to push that on other people. So that's where we're headed now. The Bible verse that was superimposed on the structure of the bridge was Isaiah 43:2. When you pass through the waters, I'll be with you, and through the rivers, they will not overthrow you. So I did a lot of research on that. I've spent. I really wanted to understand the context of it. So from all the research that I'm doing, it seems like Isaiah was prophesied during one of the worst times in Israel's history. They were very corrupt. God had enough of them, and so he decided to send the Assyrian army to them. It was a time of great difficulty. They were captives of their enemies, and they were exiled to Babylon. And to me, it really resonated, and it was very similar to where I feel like we are now. The times that were going on them parallel very, to me at least, paralleled very closely to what's going on now. So what I feel the message that I'm getting out of that passage, when you pass through the waters, I'll be with you. To me, that's a reassurance that we're going to get through it. We're going to get through the waters ahead, if you will. That there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light at the end of the tunnel isn't a coming train. But there is going to be those waters that we have to cross ahead, and that kind of tells me, one, it's kind of reassuring, but it's also telling me that it's not the time yet for me to get out of here, if you will. And then the second part was, and through the rivers they will not overthrow you. Which is telling me, the plan is solid. Stay the course. It's not the time yet. Keep doing the best I can with what I got, where I'm at. Keep improving my situation, and just don't worry about where that next dollar comes from. Keep working the Pareto principle like I have been. Focus 80% of my effort on that 20% that has the least amount of drawbacks or challenges or frustrations, and that 80% that is giving you all those frustrations, weed that out and keep honing that. Keep honing that 80-20 Pareto principle, if you will, until you get to that end state. It's also telling me, don't worry about the patrons and the likes and the comments and the subscribers, that they're going to come eventually. When the time is right, they're going to come. I just need to stay focused on sharing my journey with you, and those comments and subscribers and the patrons on Patreon, all that stuff will come later on. A couple of you have asked, and I'm sure some of you are wondering, what's Petrogy mean? Petrogy, the name of this blog. Since we were talking about religious things a little bit, I thought I would share where I came up with the word Petrogy. Petrogy, it's basically two Latin or Greek, can't remember which one, two words that I slammed together, Petter and Og. Roughly, if you put the words together, it would mean rock of the earth, if you will. Where do I get that word from? One, it used to be a blog that I used to do, a blog a long time ago. Never really took off or anything, so I kind of gave up on it. It also Petter is my last name, Peterson. The old Norwegian stubborn spelling of it. Roughly that the name means son of Peter, and if you go biblical with that, then that would be son of Peter the disciple, possibly. Peter was the one who left the boat to walk on the water with Jesus, and when he took his eyes off of Jesus, he began to sink. He was also kind of known as the Rock, so that's where that rock of the earth, if you will, and it also ties to my last name. That's where Petrogy comes from. So I just wanted to wrap up the week, let you know what was going on with me this week, and kind of wrap that whole week up. I hope there was some good takeaways for you, and we'll continue into next week. Continue sharing my journey, and we'll see where this leads us all.
If you like what you see, please tell your friends. If you'd like to support these videos, become a patron on Patreon, or follow me on Patreon, or follow me on Steemit, or subscribe on DTube. Comments, shares, likes, upvotes, responses, and resteems are all always greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching, and good luck out there.